All right, this is what we talked about week 4 of Armour Up. Started off just by talking about how, especially where we live, our focus can be pulled in so many different directions and we can be distracted by so many different things that are going on around us. It could be just the normal busyness of life. It could be how are we fitting into a certain group? What do other people think about us? It could be a really hard time that's come up. It could be our focus is on ourselves and how we're doing. It could be a variety of things, but the reality is where we live, we can be distracted by what's going on around us all the time. And the question is, what do we do in the midst of that? Joshua in the Bible had a similar situation. You might have heard of Joshua in the Battle of Jericho. And this is what we focused on. God went up to Joshua and he told him, you've got to lead Israel into the promised land. And in order to do that, you're going to have to overcome some pretty tough enemies. And the natural response to that would be to freak out, be really scared, and to have no courage because of what's going on around you would really distract you. And what God tells Joshua in a verse that a lot of people know is our memory verse this week is to be strong and courageous. But the last part of that verse is, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And if we notice, it doesn't say for you're really strong or because you've got a great army or because you can do this, you've just got to believe in yourself. Or, hey, it's not that big of a deal what you're about to do. It's really not that big. You can do it. It doesn't say any of that. It says because God is with you. And what we notice is that when Joshua took his eyes off what was going on around him and he fixed his eyes on his king, it led to courage, and then it led to him caring about things that really mattered. So what does that have to do with us? I really believe in our community, one of the biggest temptations is to simply forget the good news of the gospel, that our eyes can be taken away from the good news that God is telling us that we are worth the life of his son, and our value comes from him, not in what we do, but in what we have done. The only response to that is to have joy and to have courage. And if we're not experiencing those kind of results, it's probably because we're not meditating and contemplating the gospel. Our eyes are fixed in a ton of different directions, how we're doing, what's going on around us. So the challenge that I gave us was to take our eyes off ourselves, to take our eyes off our distractions, and instead to fix them on our King who humbled himself to a cross so that we could have life. That's the goal. So the whole point of this week was because God is with us, we will have courage. And when we focus on the fact that he's with us, that's how we can live day to day. So hopefully that encourages and challenges these kids. Let us know if you have any questions.